So much happens in the first 20 minutes of this episode that you really have to be focused and paying attention because we get a lot unfolding. First off, the queen, they start with the queen still awake, but she passes out, and we go to the modern times where we see Bong in his bed. Han, who we remember from the first episode, was the manager in the Blue House. He's the one that removed Bong's mask and sent him into this critical state. The doctors come in and revive him. Bong kind of wakes up in his body. The queen passes out in the Joseon dynasty, and Bong kind of wakes up in his body, and he's like, oh wow, I'm back. This is great. I love this. But he can't move. He can't talk. No one hears anything that he's saying, but we can hear him because we're privy to his thoughts. He finds out that he is in this vegetable state. So even though he can open his eyes, he can't communicate with anyone. He can't move anything. It's like his mind is disconnected from his body, or his soul isn't fully back in his body yet. We also find out that the people at the Blue House, Han and I think the chef that was jealous of him, have basically blamed everything on him. So he's in trouble for putting that hook in the fish that he didn't do, and just that whole fallout. So it's not good for him in modern time Seoul. In the Joseon dynasty, the queen passes out. The chef, the maid, Choi comes in. Everyone freaks out. The maid and the chef run to go find help. They find the king walking to his night with the concubine, stop him. The maid barely mutters, just, the queen! And then the king takes off running to the queen. That was sexy. He takes off running towards the queen, full on sprint. These royals aren't even supposed to be walking fast. They're just supposed to be, meandering around the palace. But he takes off in a sprint, gets to the queen, cradles her in his arms, tries to figure out what's going on, decides to take the queen back to her room and lay her down. He sits with the queen all night long, tells everyone else to leave. While he's sitting with the queen, there's stuff happening around the palace. Let me find out what that stuff is. Okay. The biggest thing that's happening around the palace is that the concubine is mad that the king did not come spend the night with her. She finds out that the king went to the queen instead because the queen passed out. Of course, the concubine's going to think, the queen's she's just playing with me, since she doesn't like her. But she goes to Debbie and tells Debbie, look, what do we have to do to get rid of this queen? Do whatever you have to do. Debbie says, okay, well then we need to perform a shamanic ceremony, and we have to perform it as close to the queen's palace as we can. Let's do this. The Hwa-jin is all for it, even though she doesn't necessarily believe these things. But she's like, look, I just want to get rid of the queen. Debbie starts performing the shamanistic ceremony. In order to do that, they had to get the maid that was the spy to plant all these things around the queen's room and to take some of the queen's belongings out of the room in order to use in the ceremony. The ceremony gets popping. The shaman is on the palace. This is really bad because none of this stuff is supposed to be happening on palace grounds, but it's popping. The grand queen, the queen grandmother, finds out about it and is like, oh God, why are they doing this? But her and Hwa Gun think they can use this to their advantage. So they find out that this shamanistic ceremony is against the queen, to try to remove the queen. So they get Byung-in to break up this shamanistic ceremony. The grandmother queen comes in, tells the maid and the shaman that they're about to go get killed, seriously killed, pulled apart by horses. They get pulled away, and she basically tells Debbie, okay, you're next, you're about to go die. Debbie begs for her life, and this is when it's revealed that some details about how the old king died. We find out that he died by cyanide poisoning, and we find out that it doesn't look like Debbie was involved in it, but it does look like the queen grandmother was involved in it somehow. This is all alluded to, so we don't know for sure. Also going on this night, Byung-in is still searching for whoever this garment belongs to, and he's kind of tracing it down closer to how he can find out where this garment belonged to. But he gets interrupted because he has to go break up this shamanistic ceremony. Now he's all involved. Now he finds out, wow, the queen has passed out. He's super concerned. He decides to get his guards together. He's gonna go take the queen from the queen's place and take her somewhere with him that can be safe. The king is the only one in the room with the queen. So when Byung-in shows up, he shows up with all these guards, and he's like, I'm taking the queen with me, F you, king. The king ends up showing himself, like showing how powerful of a man he is. He's not hiding or being comedic right now, takes the sword from Byung-in and is like, the queen's going nowhere, she's my woman. It's this huge thing. It's really amazing to watch. And Byung-in realizes, I don't think the king is who he's pretending to be, because he looks like he's a lot more powerful than he's playing with us. That part's really good. Yang Pyong shows up with his guards, and it's basically like, what are you doing, royal guard? You can't hold swords to the king? You got problems. It all gets settled because the king's basically like, go. I'm the king. You guards work for me. All you guards in the palace work for me. The king tells his trusted guard, Yang Pyong Hong, and his people to protect the queen all night, take the queen to her safe place. Overnight, we get some more information. The Kim family, which is the queen's family, is like, this queen is not acting right. Maybe we do need to get rid of her. Jwa Gun says that they still have the runner-ups for the queen. Those runner-ups have not gotten married yet. I have them on standby. We can bring them in to be the new queen. So they're still on this whole run of, hey, we don't want to get rid of the queen, but we can. So let's do that. The next day, the queen wakes up at home. We get this really adorable scene of how she wakes up. She's surrounded by gold, and she's like, am I with the Incas now? What's going on? But she thought her soul had gone to like a whole nother time in history, but she's back in the queen's body, breathes a sigh of relief. And the best part is she gets pampered all day long. Her father brought in the best food, the best doctors, the best makeup artist and dresser to do her hair and everything. She says she looks like a Barbie doll. Yoon is like, does that mean you're happy? Because she doesn't know what a Barbie doll is. Everything's perfect. In the other room, Byung-in is talking to the queen's father, and the queen's father reveals that some of his warehouses have been broken into. Perhaps the warehouses had this particular cloth that you're looking for in them. I don't know. They were just a whole bunch of gifts people gave me since my daughter became the queen. I gave one gift to the queen grandmother, and that's all I know. Byung-in starts to look into these warehouses being broken into. The biggest reveal of the queen being at home is that her memories come back. She starts to remember the life of So-yeon that she did not know before. So Bong's like, whoa, I suddenly have these memories from So-yeon. This is crazy. She remembers herself as a child studying really hard because her birthday is the same day as her mother's memorial. She feels really bad about that. So she feels like she should study and be a good daughter for her father. She can't believe this memory is in her head. Her maid can't believe this memory is in her head. And I also can't believe it. I'm just like, what? This is cool. What does this mean is going to happen? I'm all for this change in the storyline. I love it. At the end of the episode, there's this monologue about how people in the palace have to wear different masks. And we find out that there's a secret that people are keeping in the palace. We don't know what this secret is. It has to do with the former king, and it also has to do with something that's in a well. It kind of seems like somebody fell into the well and somebody saved their life, but I'm not sure. I'll have to watch the preview again to find out. And hopefully they release the text preview. They haven't done that yet. If they release it, we'll post a video for it. But that's the end of this episode. It is a jam-packed episode with information. But the two biggest takeaways are that the queen has her memory back. The king has revealed to Byung-in that he's not some sucker to just play with. He's pretending to be a sucker to be played with. And there's this secret about the king that we need to find out about. There's just a whole bunch. I'm sure there's more. But anyway, it was a good episode. I suggest watching it. Hopefully this recap helps you watch it. And I'll link the full recaps, the full live recaps in the description. And we'll catch you on the next recap, hopefully with the spoiler preview.